Now, this country is some of the most beautiful cities in the world. Washington, D.C., strip away the nonsense, and it's a beautiful place. There are many others. But the federal government has for decades intentionally desecrated our cities with bad architecture. Not architecture that's in bad taste, architecture that is designed to offend and alienate you, that's ugly on purpose for ideological reasons, that is an attack on beauty, which in the end is one of the most important things. Beauty, it matters. No one says that, but it's true. In Washington, there's the J. Edgar Hoover FBI building on Pennsylvania Avenue that wrecks the day of everyone who walks past. In Cincinnati, there's something called the John Weld Peck Federal Building. It houses the Internal Revenue Service. Poor John Weld Peck. Doesn't matter what he did on this earth, he didn't deserve a building like that.
Look on the rear.
Just look at this, how plain and repetitive they look. Oh my goodness. So folks, you are spending probably like $500,000 to live in these homes. They lack character, they lack beauty, they lack detail. They're very
Dull looking, depressing. All the homes are close together. They're probably going to need a lot of maintenance in the coming years. And despite the fact that they're so close together, they probably have high HOA fees. They're very far and separated from everyday uses. They're gated, which they don't do jack because I was able to get in very easily.
And it's just sad why people are so used to it and they buy into this crap.
Ooh la la. Look at these beautiful homes. Right in front of the park, facing the Atlantic Ocean on the south end of Charleston.
The new Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms building in Washington, built in 2008, is absolutely hideous. It's horrifying. Who's in charge of making our public spaces disgusting? Well, we're not exactly sure, but President Trump wants to fix it. Yesterday, he issued an executive order promoting, and here's an idea, beauty in architecture in federal buildings. New buildings, said the order, should, quote, uplift and beautify public spaces and, quote, inspire the human spirit. You wouldn't think anyone would have to issue an order commanding that, but we do, and thank God he did. What does this mean, and why should you care? Chris Bedford is a senior editor at The Federalist. He joins us tonight. Chris, thanks so much for coming on. We spend almost no time talking about beauty, aesthetics, the quality of our public spaces. We should. Tell us what this order will do you think?
We absolutely should. Winston Churchill said that we build our, to paraphrase it, he said that we build our buildings and afterwards they shape us because they are part of our civilization. They help us, they connect us with our forefathers, with our national values, with what justice means. You look at an old-fashioned courthouse, Supreme Court, you know that's a place for justice. You look at a new federal courthouse, nowadays it's very difficult to see that. And unlike a book where you can choose to pick it up and read it, or unlike even a painting where you can choose to go see it at the museum, this is civic architecture. It's public space, and it's in our public square, either attacking us every day or uplifting us every day. Now, President Trump has removed this from the experts for the first time in about 60 or so years. We've had rule by experts in architecture where they are deciding what is beautiful. And, well, 70% or more than 70% of Americans, according to a poll by the National Civic Arts Society this fall, find traditional architecture to be much more uplifting. We've had a tyranny of experts, which sounds pretty familiar if we're living through the COVID years, where no one else has been allowed to have an opinion except for architects until now.
I mean, what does it tell you about a ruling class that they consider, like, Frank Gehry a genius? It's just, I mean, you'd really have to be like a new money poser moron to look at a Frank Gehry building and say, you know, that's beautiful, that's really impressive. I mean, it is kind of a species of abstract art designed to challenge rather than uplift. I mean, the whole thing's a sham, is it not?
It is a sham. I mean, the people who built a lot of this architecture named it themselves. They called it brutalism. Now, I know that's not what Gehry does, but at least with the brutalists here, they're pretty upfront about it. This is steel and it's cement. It's not drawn back from the cathedrals of Europe. It's drawn back possibly to the flak towers of Germany during World War II. This is unbelievable. They had Gehry build a monument to Eisenhower in Washington, D.C. recently. So what he planned was to design a monument to Frank Gehry himself. When he got pushback from the family and from some better architects than him, he decided to basically take his name off of it. You can barely even find it anywhere. So now it's difficult to discern who it's a monument to at all, and it won't even be seen by most people unless it's pointed out as the homeless camp it's already become.
That's exactly. No, why I'm laughing. Later generations are going to look back on the people who built these buildings with total contempt. Total, and it'll be well earned. It's great to see you tonight. Chris Bedford, thank you.